Hi, and welcome to this Blender tutorial. Today we're going to look at how to draw vegetation in our scene to achieve some organic and very creative feel. Let's start by deleting everything and adding a plane, and then scale 20 to make it really big. At this point we want to edit this plane to make it look like a terrain with ups and downs. Let's tab into edit mode and then subdivide quite a bit so we have some geometry to work with. We enable the proportional editing so that if we grab a vertex and then we grab it on the Z and then we scroll the mouse wheel, we can achieve this kind of hill or mountain. It depends on the proportion and the shape that you give it to it. I just want to subdivide quite a little bit more and then shade smooth. I'm going to position the camera somewhere here so that it looks like a really big field. I'm probably going to scale it a little bit and position myself here, and then I'm going to shift A and add a camera, and then Control Alt 0 to align the camera to view, and then end panel, camera to view, and then I can move my camera around and then I can position it whatever I want. I also want to change a little bit the focal length of the camera so that this field looks like really big. Okay, at this point I can split my screen in two by clicking on the top right corner and then exit the camera view on this side and then start editing my terrain. I'm gonna modify my terrain quite a bit to give this field of a land, creating some irregularity to my plane. I'm just grabbing one random vertex and then giving it a shape so that it looks far from being a flat plane. Okay, I can kind of be happy with this. Probably this area here is still a little bit too flat, so I'm gonna grab it on the Z and give some other shape. Okay, at this point I'm gonna add a material to this plane that I already created. It's called ground, and it's gonna look like this. I'm in material view, so in render view it's gonna look like this in Eevee, but we're gonna go into cycles, enable GPU, and give some light to my word. Okay, now that I have my camera in position, I'm gonna just tweak a little bit some of the Y and X position of the camera. I'm gonna rotate it a little bit, just slide a little bit on the X and rotate slightly a little bit on the Y so that I can have this, and then grab it on the Z. I'm just working a little bit around with the camera to get my perfect angle. At this point I have the material and I have the ground. I can go back to material view, and at this point I can start drawing vegetation around my scene. So to do so, I'm gonna end panel and then use my favorite tool for vegetation, which is Sequoia. I'm gonna select the plane and then select one of the grass included. Let's go with clovers, which is like a very green grass, and then add the element. At this point, you see I have the clovers added to my scene, and I can just see that with the size. At this point I can start growing some more grass. I'm gonna go to just one over here and then enabling the draw. I'm gonna draw some grass around by clicking on this, and at this point I can start literally growing some grass around. I'm drawing with the click of a button some grass all around my scene, and then when I turn it off I can see the ground that is coming. You can go into render mode and see what's going on here, and then we have this grass growing around. At this point I can still playing around with the size of it, so all this drawing that I've done can be of course tweaked. I can random size it, and then I can random rotate it, and then grow the size of it. Okay, now I have a pattern. I can go to the next layer and add another kind of grass like the Bahia grass, and then I select the plane and add the element. At this point I can keep drawing around my scene with the drawing tool. And then once I'm done, I can see the result coming together. Let me just focus on just the camera region. You can see that I added some grass. So this kind of grass is the one that I added right now with the drawing, but I can decide that I want more grass growing, so I can increase the count and then have a lot of grass coming here. And as you can see, I have a lot of grass. Of course, this is a lot too much, definitely too much grass, so I can decide to have, like, instead of count of 10, I can do like 17, and then increase the radius of my brush, like kind of a big brush, and then start adding more grass. Let me make the radius even bigger, and then I start drawing grass around. As you can see the result on this side of the screen. So this is definitely off camera, but I'm now gonna add some grass over here. So let's on the draw and then add some grass in this area. Some more until I'm happy with it. Okay, and then when I turn it off, I can see the result. Let's go crazy and let's increase the count and let's start drawing again. Even here on top of the mountain. And then we have grass coming along. I can size it up so I can make it bigger, and you can see that it's gonna be bigger in my scene, and now it's very visible. And then random size it, and a little bit of random orientation, and definitely some random rotation. And now let's do something that is very, very evident. So let's pick this side of the mountain, and let's add something else, like some flowers. So I'm gonna get the chamomile flower and then select the plane and add the element. As you can see, now we have it in our scene. I'm gonna make it bigger so that we can see from this side of the screen. You can see the chamomile. Yeah, there you go. It's here. You see, it's big just because I wanted to see what it is. Let's make it definitely smaller, much smaller, and then let's start drawing it. So I wanna, as I said, I wanna draw it on this side of the mountain so that it's pretty visible. So I don't draw on and then making the radius smaller. I just wanna make a group of flowers that somehow grew on this side of the mountain. I wanna make them quite a bit, made them visible. I'm drawing around, and at this point I can enable the chamomile flower. Oh, I did it on this side of the mountain. That's quite a lot. But if I random size it, and if I random rotate it to the top level and then size it down to, let's say, 2, you can see that it becomes like a real group of flowers. I'm probably looking at the wrong angle, but probably yes, because I'm drawing here. Okay, and you can see the flowers that are just in this area of the screen. Let's get closer. So I'm gonna get off the camera view and then get closer to where I added the flowers. As you can see, all these white flowers are the chamomile flowers. If I increase the size to 5, you can see that it's a lot of grass. At this point, I want to just give it a little bit of random size, but just to a portion of them. So if I go to length and then I switch to plus, I'm gonna now grow the portion of the chamomile flower that I want. So just this area over here, that's making it just taller. As you can see, it's kind of growing just a portion of those flowers. And then if I go back to off, I can see that this area here, in this area, they are taller. I'm gonna go back to a size, like a normal size, like 2.5, half of the size that we see now. And then we are already seeing some variation to our flowers. Let's go back to the camera view, and then we can now go to the next layer and add some trees. Okay, trees are going to be big. I'm going to add some, let's see, some elm, which is a tree. Select my plane and then add the element. At this point, I'm going to have some big trees around my scene. There you go. That's the first tree. Okay, in Sequoia, if you want, you can just increase the number, and then you have a lot of trees coming together in your scene, which is absolutely fine. But if I want to draw them, I can start from adding the elm. So add the element, and then at this point I can turn on the draw function and then start drawing trees around my scene, even here very close to my camera. And then turning off the drawing function, I'm gonna have basically the trees that I just drew using this tool, and then random size it, and then random rotate them. Okay, and then I can decrease the number so that I have some sort of scatter feel, and then I can even make them smaller, like going into like 0.5 size. Okay, so I have grass and I have this group of trees all around my scene. Now I want to add some other kind of trees in the middle of this area, so I go to the next layer and I select let's say another kind of tree, select my plane, add the element, and then I want to draw a little bit less trees, like less density. So I'm gonna bring the count to 10 and then start drawing my trees around the scene. I have a lot of elements in this scene in my plane, so as you can see, Blender is start getting a little bit laggy, but that's absolutely fine because that's a heavy operation for any computer. But I'm exaggerating just because I want to add a lot of trees. I mean, I don't know how many trees we have here, but we have a lot of them, probably thousands. Let's random size and random rotate. And then as you can see, we are creating some patterns around, like probably here, somehow this species of tree grew, and then here we have another species. So that's absolutely up to you what you want to create. I just want to add some color just for the sake of creativity. And I go in the tropical collection and add this philodendron and then add it to my scene. And this should be a very colorful plant. Let's see where it is. It's here, and you can see it's red. It's a red plant. So I want to make it definitely smaller, and then start drawing some of those colorful plants all around my scene. I'm gonna be quite random with it because I want this color to be scattered around. So I'm basically gonna draw nearly anywhere in the scene, doesn't matter. I just want some accents and some colors to appear in my scene. Okay, now I've been drawing around, and then turn it off, and then we should have some colors appearing. As you can see, it looks like an awesome color pattern. If you want to make it smaller, you can do like 0.6 and they become smaller, and then random size and then random rotate, so that we can have some differentiation. And then now it looks like a populated hill with trees and some other colors. And you can go ahead and add whatever you want. You can add rocks, and you don't need to draw all the time. You can just add the element and then add the number, like probably 100 of them, and then just to see where they are, like go crazy with the size. You can see we have a lot of rocks, random size, and like random rotation. Okay, and then go back to 2. There you go. You have some rocks not really visible. Let's make them bigger, probably to 4. And then we start getting some rocks around our scene. Let me go closer to my camera so that we can see what's going on in our scene so far. Okay, actually the camera is moving. I did not want the camera to move. I just wanted to make the square bigger. Okay, there you go. Let's give Blender a couple of seconds, but as you can see, we drew around trees and grass and some colorful other plants, tropical plants. Those rocks are definitely too big now that I can see them. So let's go back in Sequoia and let's size it down to 2. Let's see how they look. Okay, if you want to go back and edit some of the things that you did before, you can go to the previous layer, previous layer, previous layer. As you can see, the particle setting is changing. I mean, this one, for instance, is the rocks. I know because it's the last one, and I can call them rocks so that I can keep track of what I'm doing. And I know that if I increase this, this is actually talking to the rocks. And so I suggest you to name your layer every time you do something, every time you add a new element. I hope this tutorial was useful for you to create some organic patterns. Of course, the limit is just your creativity, so go crazy and create whatever you want. Very useful tool, Sequoia, if you want to create some organic shapes, for instance, around the building, right? You have a house and you want to create some vegetation around the scene. You can simply add the plane and then start drawing grass around, and you can mix together different kinds of grass, different kind of plants and trees and rocks. I strongly suggest you to try and, you know, experiment with different plant species and different you know, patterns, because it's a quick tool. It's a tool that allows you to go fast on vegetation, but also gives you some creative freedom. Thanks everybody for watching, and see you in the next video.